Welcome to PF International in Lincolnshire for the opening round of the Tuto Money Super 1 British Karting Championships. The greatest national karting championship in the world is back. I'm joined by the Super 1 organiser, John Hoyle. And John, we're looking at, for 2018, the opening round, a new record, 301 entries, count them, for this round. Quite remarkable. What are you putting it down to?
I think we've done a bit of cost cutting on the different classes that's attracted more people. Some have got 2 days, some have got 3, but yeah, really pleased. It's we're over 400 registered people. Not all the people from the Super 1 are here, so it's amazing really, and the sun shines out as well for us, so makes it even better.
Yeah, it's supposed to be raining by now, but the sun is still shining. The Rotax situation is quite remarkable. I think there's Rotax championships from around the world getting in touch with you saying, what have you done? Because we had no senior Rotax drivers last year in the championship, no senior Rotax class. This year, 71 have turned up at this round. So just clarify what you've done differently.
Yeah, we've got actually 90 people registered for the class, because some people might be doing other rounds that aren't here. We've just reduced the tyre usage, so they only have 1 set of tyres for the racing, no new tyres for the practice, 1 set of wets, the entry fee and 2 days. So it's actually the cheapest that class has been for, well, ever, so that's really good. And even in the sort of good days of karting where the numbers were booming, we're over that now, so which is really pleasing.
Yeah, I remember Martin Hines saying years ago, need to get back to 2-day meetings. Of course, you've done that for Rotax. And we did it with TKM a few years ago, worked with that as well. It's unlikely you're going to do that, though, I think, with the likes of the cadet classes and others.
Yeah, we've got some different things we may be thinking of for next year, but I know it does suit, but we've got to, track time and things like that, make sure people get enough track time. But it's worked in the TKM, which with a 3rd year in doing that, and still 50 entries in senior classes where they're sometimes non-existent in club meeting, so really good.
And Tuto Money back on board for this year, sponsoring the series?
Yeah, Tuto come back on, and also Tag Heuer, so the winners of each class get a Tag Heuer watch, so yeah, really good.
Joining me is someone that knows all about this circuit here at PF International. He's won Kart Masters here 6 times, but more recently, the McLaren driver, Ben Barnico, won the British GT Championship. Congratulations. Driving what car?
McLaren's 570S GT4.
Nice job if you can get it, by the way. Just tell us a little bit about what you're doing here this weekend. I know your dad runs the circuit, manages the circuit, but you're in here with Mick Barrett this weekend?
Yeah, so obviously in 2010 drove for Mick Barrett Racing, had a great time there in Super 1, finishing 2nd in the championship, had great success, won a lot of races. So back here this weekend, driver coaching for Alex Wang and Sean Butcher, so really enjoying it. It's good to be back with the team after what they did for me in my younger career. Never forget where you came from, so I'm really enjoying my time helping them out.
No, absolutely right as well. I said to Harry Thomson, when you get to Formula 1, will you come back? And he said, yeah, I definitely will, and I'm holding him to that. You're not going to be 7-time Kart Masters champion this year, though, because you're going to be driving British GT, I think, again?
Yeah, a big shame that it clashes. I'd love to come back and challenge Mike Simpson for the record, but I'll have to wait for another day. I'm definitely going for it. I'm still young, so I've got to crack on and get it done. So to get 6 is a great achievement already, but I'm pushing for more.
I'm here in the Jenkins awning. If you know anything about truck racing in the UK, you might recognise these two guys. This guy here, Ryan Smith, the 2-time British Truck Racing Championship in the top class, by the way. None of that B-level nonsense. I think we've got a few B-level guys in the background here, but Ryan knows all about racing in the top class, as does this man, who is the uncle of Will Jenkins. It's Dave Jenkins. You're the former British champion in truck racing as well, Dave. Just tell us a little bit about that journey.
Yeah, truck racing's been in my blood. I went to the first race meeting in 1984 when my dad raced, and as soon as I was 21 in the late 90s I started racing, so I've been doing that for 20 years now, and ably supported by my brother, who's Will's father. So now Will's come of age, it's time for us to balance the new up and coming talent with my ongoing truck racing career.
And I like to ask this question of people that are racers themselves, drivers themselves. Now you're involved with Will, what are you enjoying more? Are you enjoying the driving, or are you enjoying more being involved with Will and watching him and that sort of excitement?
Spent a lot of time with Will over the winter, doing some testing and stuff, and there was times when I was going home on a night time feeling absolutely rewarded, and to the extent that I thought that maybe I would be able to stop racing myself and get completely behind Will. But after last weekend at Brands Hatch again, we had a great trio of podiums there, and that relit the fire for me with my own driving. So like I said before, it's all about finding the balance now, but it really does it for me, you know, in terms of the emotions and I find it relaxing as well. And it's so rewarding working with Will, because sometimes he listens to me, sometimes he thinks his uncle's mumbling a load of nonsense, but either way he pretends he's listening to me, and it's great. It's really rewarding.
Okay, let's have a quick chat with Will then. Tell us about your journey, Will. How long have you been driving for, first of all?
Oh yeah, I've been karting for about 4 years. And the first year we didn't do much, there's a couple of meetings in cadet. Second year we did a full season in cadets, and then we did a couple of years in Minimax. This is our first season in junior Rotax.
And your first visit to Super 1, not your first visit to PF. I think you've been here 4 or 5 times, but always been wet, I understand, but dry today.
Yeah, the 5 times we've been here, it's been snowing at one time and raining, and it's been all sorts of different combinations apart from dry.
And obviously you've been doing a lot of club meetings, club karting in the UK. What's the difference with Super 1? People turn up here, they see the sign on the gates, this is Super 1, and you feel like you've arrived?
Yeah, you feel like you're doing the right thing, and yeah, got to the top.
Okay, and what's in your future then? Obviously, in your family, it's truck racing. Is that something you think you're going to pursue?
Yeah, I like watching him, and I'm not sure. I don't know, see how it happens.
Who's the best driver, you or your Uncle Dave?
Me, definitely.
Okay, well, let's see. See, now you've said that, let's have a look at the race.
Well, the battle is joined for the 2018 Super 1 Championships at Junior Rotax. It's these two on the front row, Guy Cunnington and James Lowther, that have been at each other's throats since the start of the weekend. Hunter and Thomson close on the second row from Bunsen Eads. Keep an eye outside the top 10 as well. There's a few to watch for. Angie Stenning, the rookies, right up there in the top 7 rows or so. Then we've got Alex Bentley. Owen Johnson trying to push his way through as well. Matty Hinchley should be strong off the start. The rookie's not had a great weekend, but he's shown pace. And look at that, straight off the start into second has come Kai Hunter. He's launched ahead of James Lowther, but not for long. Lowther's going to try and come through on Cunnington as well. Brilliant stuff. Now watch the battle between these two, because Cunnington and Lowther have been absolutely on it together, and every time one of them gets into the lead, the other one has to take it back. So they will be absolutely at it. Down the back straight we go, and there's a spin for the back. Is that? Yes, that is a spin. The 80's gone around. That's Lawrenson, and he's tagged with Ben Casely, the 53. So both of them coming off the circuit and getting back on. That is Lowther back up the inside of Cunnington already, and straight through into the lead. So James Lowther takes over the race lead straight away. This is what I'm talking about. Cunnington and Lowther, every time one of them gets into the lead, the other has to take it back again. Brilliant racing. Good start as well from Cameron Thomson, as he is now in there, I think, in 3rd position, having got past Kai Hunter. If he hasn't yet, then he's definitely thinking about it. He's looking very racy here this weekend at PF International. He's really made light work of the greasy conditions. It's been dry most of the weekend, but the rain has only been coming down in the last 2 hours or so, but it's not been a heavy monsoon rain shower. The rain has just been relentless all day as it falls. Now we've got Lowther in the lead from Cunnington, Thomson, Kai Hunter, Bunce, Collings and Eads.
Lowther is my championship pick. He was in my Once to Watch that I did last week online, James Lowther, but he's been under pressure by Cunnington this weekend. The live championship points, by the way, guys, If you're watching top left of your screen at the moment, Lowther and Cunnington tied on 192. Those championship points will update live at the end of every lap. So at the moment, it's Lowther, Cunnington, Thomson. Kai Hunter trying to get in the mix as well. Hunter there on the 95, just in 5th place. That's Matthew Collins' information. The man from Dunfermline on the S plate. That denotes him as the Scottish champion.
Yeah, Collins has just made the move into 5th position on Finley Bunce as those two battle away in there. But getting past both of them is Alex Eads. So Alex Eads has got through into 5th position, and we know Alex Eads by reputation. He was an absolute stunner of a racer in cadets. He's made his way up to junior Rotax, and he's keeping that bandwagon rolling. Finley Bunce, 6th seed, having finished in 6th place last year in the championship, has got Collins and the 31 of Anchi Stenning, the leading rookie, in there as well. So Anchi Stenning's had a pretty good weekend thus far. Lowther has built a lead of, what's that, 0.7 of a second already in front of Guy Cunnington, but he's not going to hold a lead like that over Guy Cunnington for long.
Anchi Stenning, the leading rookie. Just the rookies are picked out in blue on the left of your screen. The runners that have been in the championship for a while in red. So if you win, by the way, and you're a rookie, you get your own trophy for that. So Anchi Stenning's now got an extra driver between himself and the second rookie, Jack Steadman. He's got Klaas Koijke between him and Steadman, but for how long?
It's going to be really interesting to see how these drivers fight their way in the tricky conditions. We've had several drivers moving up through the field. We've got Anchi Stenning having moved up 5 places as the leading rookie. That looks like Collins making the move on the inside of Eads, and he's got through. No problems at all for him there. And Eads is going to have to defend to hold the position in front of Anchi Stenning. 77, Klaas Koijke's getting in there as well. He's done a fairly decent job all weekend, but he's really struggled with poor luck, unfortunately. He just seems to have been in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Jay, I have noticed there's a lot of drivers clattering the curbs. Now, I've noticed this earlier in the day, actually. Just look how many drivers are clattering that curb there. They are taking a big risk because it is on, and there you go.
And exactly as you say that, Jack Steadman has clipped the curb out of the final turn. Fortunately, nobody's hit him, but absolutely right, and that's the risk you run in these greasy conditions. Look again, we very nearly lost another one out of the final turn there, and that is exactly what we're talking about. Several karts pushing the limits here as they come over those curbs. You can do that in the dry. In the wet, you really can't afford to take that risk.
It's a huge risk in these conditions. It is drizzling. It's very, very slight at the moment as Koijke makes a move on Alex Eads, so Koijke gets that job done. It is very moist. You can just about feel the spitting on your face at the moment. The Wokingham man there on the 77, Klaas Koijke. So it's not pouring down with rain. You can see it's almost like a dry line there, but it's very wet, and of course over the painted curbs it's even more slippery.
For the lead. Cunnington trying to get alongside Lowther, and they still, oh goodness me, Cunnington so nearly got spat out of the side of Lowther, but this is what their battle has been like all weekend. Every time Lowther's in the lead, Cunningham has to respond. I'm going to run this race from the front, mate. And every time Cunnington's in the lead, Lowther comes straight back at him and says, don't think so. It's my race to win.
Cameron Thompson there in 3rd place from Hunter, Bunce, Collins, Koijke, Eads, Sam Harrison there in 9th place, and Oakley Pryor's made up a huge number of places.
Pryor's made up 10 places off the start. Ben Burgess in 14th has done a beautiful job as well. He's up 16 places from 30th on the grid.
Incredible. Fantastic driving by the lads.
Well, there's also a bit of an interesting battle going on for the leading rookie because it was Anchi Stenning. He's dropped a few places. Now it's Taylor Babs who is the leading rookie in front of Harry Newman Oakley as they battle just outside the top 10. Cunnington, meanwhile, at the front of the field is going to want to chase down James Lowther again to try and make this move. Their battle, their rivalry has been incredibly intense all weekend. They have been swapping places every time they get near each other, and they have shared the wins at this point. Now, if it finishes like this, they will have 2 wins and 2 seconds apiece. They will tie on 192 points, but Lowther will get the championship lead effectively based on the fact of his qualifying earlier on in the weekend. So that's what it comes down to. These two, however, battling away. That is Finley Bunce trying to work his magic onto the back of his teammate, the 26 of Cameron Thomson, because Kai Hunter has slipped back behind him. So this is good work from Finley Bunce to work himself back into the top 5 very comfortably now in 4th place. He's just set the fastest lap of the race as well, Finley Bunce, a 1:14.4. That's half a second faster than the leaders.
KR Sport drivers, 3rd, 4th and 5th, Jake, and they're looking to move forward. They'll try and work together to get back to these leaders, these two here, Lowther and Cunnington, but I'm not sure they're going to get there. Oh, Thompson runs a little bit wide, a little bit squirrely. Cunnington looking for the wide line out of the hairpin. This should give him the run up to the S's, but he's not close enough to take that place. As I said before, just look at this curve here. That is really risky running these curves like all of the drivers seem to be. I think we're going to see a lot of drivers spat out today.
I think it's a weight thing, because obviously the heavier karts and the heavier drivers will feel they can take the risk and get that sort of grip. You'll get the cadets and the mini X30s, the junior X30s, they won't be taking that such a risk over the course of proceedings, because you'll get the heavier karts, the heavier drivers will feel they've got a little bit more grip to play with if they use the curbs. Cunnington just checking over his shoulder just to see where Cameron Thomson is. Thomson was actually fastest of all in that first sector, but it's 10 degrees air temperature, the track is wet, the drivers are trying to get as much grip into these tyres as the race proceeds as they can. We've got 4 minutes 12 on the clock, and this is going to be an interesting one as the KR Sport drivers on the Cosmic chassis, as you said, 3rd, 4th, 5th, doing an absolutely brilliant job of keeping those karts in the top 5. If we had a teams championship, we don't, unfortunately, but if we did, they would definitely be hauling home a lot of points.
They tried to set a teams championship up about 3 years ago, and John Hall said, no, you can't do that. I said, why not? He said, because the MSA will charge you if you're going to run it as a championship. I was going to try and run it on the QT, but in the end I just gave up.
Started raining again. It's been a little bit drizzly. We've just lost Connor Merrifield as well, so he's gone off the circuit at the Litchfield Bridge. Very tricky part of the circuit to go off, but you can see that it's starting to get heavier, the rain.
Yeah, clip the curb, Jake. So clip the curb, no contact, and spun out. That's the, what's that, the second one we've seen. So I don't think it will be the last.
Yeah, this is going to get trickier and trickier as the race goes on. Look at Cunnington. The back end kicks out big style.
He was lucky, kicked him out there, nearly lost it, and he would have been out of 2nd place.
Well, a lot of drivers are pushing it real over the limit today. This is obviously PF International. We've said it time and time again. The Abu Dhabi of British karting, and Alex Eads having to back down off the fright from Sam Harrison. Harrison trying desperately to find a way through into 8th position, not able to do so, and that's giving Oakley Pryor a bit of a way through. Look at that, 3 different karts, 3 completely different racing lines as they come off of turn 3 onto the Litchfield Bridge. That just shows you how treacherous the conditions can be and how intuitive as a driver you can be. It's all down to confidence.
Yeah, that could have gone pear-shaped for Alex Eads there. He was trying to squeeze the 44.
There goes Harrison.
He's up the inside, lost the place now. He tried to squeeze him down the straight. That could have resulted in both of them going off, and Eads loses 2.
Yeah, Pryor's managed to get past Eads in the same breath as Harrison getting through, so good work from Sam Harrison. Pryor, beautiful opportunistic overtaking move to get himself into 9th place there, and Alex Eads unfortunately finds himself just about rounding out the top 10. Really exciting stuff as now Eads is going to try into Bobby Game corner. Don't you dare, this is too slippery a corner, and I am not going to give you the room, but he keeps it on the inside.
Beautiful.
That's a gorgeous overtake.
That is beautiful, I like that. Very clean, lovely move. Thought about it earlier in Bobby Game, went for it in the Mike Wilson complex, and that is a lovely move by Alex Eads. Great driving.
Assertive, disciplinarian, authoritative. You are not going to let me get this. You're not going to let this one get away from me. I'm taking it. Beautifully done. As they come through once again, Eads in front of Pryor. That's Taylor Babbs behind them, the 29, who is now the leading rookie, don't forget. So Babbs getting himself into the mix. Good comeback from Tom Adams there in 12th position in the 17. He's come up 9 places through the field. Ben Burgess is still on the march. He's up to 14th place from 30th on the grid. Good moves from Matty Hinchley as well. He's one who's only just inside the top 20 now in about 18th position. His weekend could have gone so differently if he hadn't had that clattering together with Kai Hunter in the earlier part of the weekend. His entire meeting has been about catch-up ever since, but in terms of raw pace, Hinchley was up there in the top 6, so no doubt later on in this season you're going to see several drivers who are struggling to make an impression here, getting nearly on the podium. Look at James Lowther still struggling
big
out in front.
Big tank slapper there, another driver nearly losing it.
That was Kai Hunt, that was Finley Bunce. Finley Bunce nearly chucked it off into the scenery.
You can see what I mean though, how the karts start flipping out sideways, And Cunnington there is getting it all squirrely coming under the bridge as well. That's lost him at least a tenth or two. So these drivers taking a huge risk. Just want to mention Declan Lee as well, Jake, there in 20th place. Went through the line there, having made up 12. So good moves by Declan.
Is that Bunce making the move on Cameron Thomson as they come off the Lichfield Bridge? I think he was getting close and threatening it. So is Bunce going to get the move? No, he's not quite been able to sort that one out. Meanwhile, Lowther and Cunnington, we're on the penultimate lap, and I think Guy Cunnington has suddenly realised the inevitable here. He's on the penultimate lap. We're about to run out of time. It's time plus 1 lap, don't forget. But look at that gap back to James Lowther. Even in these conditions, I do not think Cunnington has enough time left to get that gap down to Lowther. He's actually looking around just to see if everything is okay with the car. Do I risk it? Do I just push? Well, no. Ultimately, you just have to wait and see if Lowther makes the mistake.
Yeah, I think Cunnington knows. He's highly experienced, Guy Cunnington. He will have an idea in his mind that the championship points at the moment are tied as we look back further down the field and more carts clattering over the curbs. But Cunnington, highly experienced on the last lap. I think he's just had a look behind. He's safe for second. I don't think he'll go for first. He's not going to have time. Even if he gets there, he won't have enough time to make the move. So it's going to be Lowther that takes this one, but they'll go out of round 1. We're tied for the championship lead. However, I'm saying that, Bunce and Thomson getting closer.
Yeah, I think Cunnington's got tyre issues. I wonder if that's what he was looking down at. Has Cunnington overcooked his tyres here? Because obviously in these conditions, they're on wets by the look of it, but you've got to remember that although it's a wet track, it's not a monsoon track, so there is grease around the circuit. Obviously, the surface moisture. I think he's actually struggling for grip because the tyres, he's pushed very hard at the start of the race to keep up with Lowther. I wonder if he's got no grip.
Yeah, they're definitely getting closer to him. I think that's why he's looking around. He's not thinking about,
there they are.
Can I get first? He's thinking about, can I hold on to second?
Well, in the final few corners for James Lowther, he's going to make it all square. 2 wins apiece from them both if Lowther can just hang on to this in front of Guy Cunnington. Cunnington should just about hang on to second. Into the final chicane here and onto the main straight. The first round of the championship. It's a victory in the televised final for James Lowther after Cunnington took the earlier final. And as they have both picked up another win apiece, that means they tie for the championship. Finley Bunce, 4th on the road, 3rd in the points. What a great weekend it's been, and the rivalry between James Lowther and Guy Cunnington is only going to get sweeter as the championship progresses. Fantastic racing here at BF International, but it sets us up for an absolutely spectacular showdown as the championship continues. If you imagine this is April and it's still quite wet at this part of the year, just imagine what it's going to be like when we get to bone dry circuits in the summer, like Glanigorse and maybe even Wilton Mill next time out will be bone dry. We'll see a much closer battle on track between Lowther and Cunnington. Thomson in 3rd from Bunce and Hunter. Matthew Collings in 6th place from Koika, Sam Harrison, Alex Eads, and Oakley Pryor making his way up through the field to finish in a very solid position in the top 10. James, all through the weekend, it's been a great rivalry between you and Guy Cunnington. What made the difference in the final in the end?
I just tried to get to the front and get a gap and then keep consistent and not make mistakes.
It looks like this rivalry is going to be going all the way through the season. Do you think that this is going to be an interesting fight?
Hopefully. I'm not sure.
Fantastic job, and the team has obviously worked very hard to put you here.
Yeah, thanks to everyone at Coles and Ogden for the waft.
Great start to the championship for James Lowther and Guy Cunnington. They are tied on 192 apiece. Lowther just has it on countback from Finley Bunce on 175, Cameron Thomson 168 and Kai Hunter 167, rounding out the top 5 as things stand at the moment. Coming up in part 2, it's Mini Max, but not everybody will make the grid.